Hey YouTubers, today I am doing my very first, actually my second modification to my Kia Forte. The first modification I did was I installed one of those little USB plug things where the cigarette lighter was. Didn't record it because I already did it on a previous car, same process pretty much. It was a little more involved. I had to take out the whole center console to get the compartment that I wanted, but not a big deal. Anyway, second modification, nothing to do with performance, has to do with safety. I was driving down the road, somebody merged into the road I was on. It's a 2-lane road, and then cut all the way across in front of me, and then I leaned on my horn to let them know that they're about to run into the side of my brand new Kia Forte. You know, how rude. And instead of hearing a loud beep, I heard something more like a dying duck. The horn on this thing is horrible. It didn't make a beep. It made kind of a whining, honking sound, which I'm going to let you guys hear in a minute. And I thought, well, you know, most cars, the horn, it has 2 of those little resonance horns, and they work in unison to give you kind of stereo audio kind of beeping sound, which also I'll let you guys hear that. And I thought, well, maybe one of them is bad, you know, because I've heard this sound before, and usually it's because one of those horns is bad. And I popped the hood and looked. It's not bad. It doesn't exist. There's only one horn thing in there, which, again, we're going to go in there and I'm going to show you guys. Which, you know, I'm thinking, I know this is supposed to be a cheap car, and I know they cut corners, and I know they're trying to cut back costs as much as possible when making the car, but how much does a horn really cost? Like, how much money did you really save by putting one of these horns in there instead of 2? So I'm going to show you guys what's in there, and I'm going to show you what I got, and I'm going to show you the process of installing my new horn, new to me, in my Kia Forte, and then you'll get to hear the difference. So as usual, if you like the videos I make, click like so I don't make more of the same, and if you want to see more of the same when I make them, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, so I have the camera set up. I don't have a remote mic, so the mic is on the camera, it's on my phone, and this, I would say there's probably about 15 feet between the phone and the car, and I'm gonna go in here real quick and press the horn so you can hear what it sounds like, and then I'll open the hood and show you what's making that sound. I know it doesn't sound that horrible, but it sounds horrible to me. It bugs me. Under the hood, on this side of the engine, on the passenger side, see that black thing? That's the horn. That's all you get. You just get one horn. There's not 2 of them, and that's why it sounds like only one is working. It's because only one of them exists. So I'm gonna go around to the trunk and I'm gonna show you guys what I got. I went to the junkyard and I spent $10 on this. This is the horn out of a Ford Escape, and as you can see, 1, 2. There are 2 horns. I cut this out with the wiring harness and with the plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up taking this plug, and I'm gonna clip these wires and join them onto the wires that are on the Kia harness, and then plug it in here so it'll have just this plug going and it won't have funky wires hanging out. And the reason I got this bracket is because you don't ever want to mount a horn onto the body of your car, because this thing resonates really violently, I guess relatively violently, and you mount it onto the body of the car, not only will you hear the horn, but you're going to hear a horrible rattling sound. So that's why horns are always mounted onto a metal bracket. They're never solid mounted onto the body of the car. See, like this one here, this is the horn, and see it's mounted onto this bracket. That's because when this resonance happens, you don't want it to happen and make noise on the body of the car. You always want it to just be on the bracket and be isolated. So first order of business, this horn has 2 wires. It has a light gray wire. It has a light gray wire and a black wire. This one has a yellow wire with a red tracer, and then a black wire with white tracer. I'm guessing the black with white tracer is ground, and over here the black is ground. But I'm gonna get my tester out and I'm gonna figure out exactly which one is which, because all I have to do is just unplug this like so, and then put my voltage tester on the white one and then press the horn, and it should light up when I press it, and that'll let me know this is the positive side. If not, I'll try the black one, but I don't know, we'll see which one it is. Nothing is ever as simple as it seems. So I disconnected this horn to see which one is the positive, and this is my lead for my test light. It's over here, and the reason why it's over here is because, so over here I have the horn disconnected, and then I come over here. This is the horn relay, is the second relay back from all the way in the front. It's this green one. And when I do this, so apparently this horn, so I already checked, it doesn't get any power when the horn honks, but there's another horn underneath here. That's the one that's honking. So I don't know what this one does. I don't know if it's supposed to have power and it doesn't have power, if the wire is broken or what's going on, but there's another one under here. This is the one that I'm hearing, so I have to take this shroud off, see how hard that horn is to get to, and figure something else out, because it's not this. Okay, after some investigating and trial and error, I figured out some things. So let me show you guys what I figured out. First thing I figured out is that this horn in here works. It works perfectly fine. If you look on the key, there's this red button that says horn, and if you press and hold this horn starts going berserk. So it's hooked up and it works exactly as intended. That is the alarm horn if you try to break in the car. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it's for if you break into the car, that horn is going to start making noise. It has nothing to do with when you press the horn that's on the steering wheel. And then I started taking this off, the shroud. You can see this 10mm bolts here, and I was going to take this whole front bumper cover off, but then I looked under there, I can't see the horn anywhere. And then I come around here on the side, and on the passenger side, behind the front wheel, inside of this cover, is where the horn is. It's right behind there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's back there. I can see it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jack the car up, take the wheel off, take the shroud off, and then we'll figure out what we're working with. Here's where we are. I removed the wheel, got the car jack up, got the jack stand, removed the fender lining, and removed the old horn. There was just a single horn in here, and there's a connector up in here, which you can see right here, and the connector has a black wire and a green wire. And on the new horn I connected the yellow wire to where the green wire was. That's the positive, and then the black to black. So that's just kind of pushed in there just to test it. And then I have this horn just kind of zip tied up in place. I'm gonna bolt it in place once I get, well, I'm gonna test this out. I already tested it out, but I'm gonna test it so you guys can hear. And then I'm gonna bolt it in place and put everything back together. So come back around here to the tripod where we started. Same distance, about 15 feet away, and you get to hear the difference. I like that way better. So now I'm gonna put everything back together. This is what the old horn was bolted to. So this was bolted to the body of the car. This side was bolted to the horn. These are a bunch of fender shims. That's what these are. These use these to space out your fenders to make sure that they fit just right. It's weird that they would use this as a horn bracket, but whatever. I'm gonna drill this hole out big enough that this nut can fit on it, and I'm just gonna bolt this onto I'm gonna bolt this bracket onto the body of the car, and then I'm gonna solder these wires onto the wiring harness so that it can plug into the horn. This is the finished product. So I have, let me see if I can zoom out. It won't let me zoom out. But yeah, so here's horn number 1, here's horn number 2, there's the harness that it plugs into, and I soldered it up and then put electrical tape, and then I put this piece over here, I forget what you call this right this second, but you put that over the tape so the tape won't unravel, and the whole thing works. I'm gonna go around, sound the horn so you can hear it, and then I gotta put this fender liner back in and put everything back in. Here's the original plug from the original horn, which is over here. So both of those are gonna end up in the trash. But oh my goodness, I'm suffering from old people. Yeah, I definitely like that better. Alright guys, stay safe. That's all I got for you today. Bye. While I'm in here working on this car, so 2016 Kia Forte, I'm sure the earlier models used the same systems. I don't know how late they kept the system, but on the serpentine belt, so this has electronic power steering. So the serpentine belt runs the alternator, the water pump, and the air conditioner. That's all it runs. But it's a manually tensioned belt, so it doesn't have a spring-loaded tensioner like you would see on most newer vehicles. It's manually tensioned, and you adjust the tension yourself with two 12mm bolts. So let me show you what's going on here. Okay, this is your tech tip of the day. So this is the serpentine belt right here, and you can see the alternator up here, and over here how you adjust the tension is that you adjust the position of the alternator. So what happens is you loosen this nut that's on the front here, it's a 12mm, and then you unscrew this to remove tension on the belt, and then tighten it to get tension on the belt, and then when you get the desired tension, then you tighten back this nut that's in the front, and that keeps it in place. You don't over tighten this, okay? It doesn't have to be super tight. Like when I looked under here and I saw this, something just told me check the belt, and when I did this to push it, it was so tight that there was zero deflection. I couldn't move it at all, and so I had to loosen this up and loosen the tension on the belt, and now if you see, I can deflect it, I can push it in about a ½ inch. Now the reason why you do that, this only needs to be tight enough to not slip. It doesn't need to be super tight, and if you over tighten it, what's going to end up happening is the extra stress on the belt will cause the belt to wear out prematurely. Also, the extra stress on the bearings will cause the first one to go would be your water pump. The water pump bearing would go out because of the extra stress, the side loading on it from the belt, and it can also cause premature wear on your alternator bearing and your AC compressor bearing. The AC compressor is pretty robust. Those tend to not wear out so much. I've seen it happen, but it's not likely. But your alternator, and most important of all, your water pump, if there's excessive amount of stress on that bearing, it'll wear out prematurely. So you don't want to over tighten this. You want it tightened just enough to where it doesn't squeak when you start the car up, and then a little bit over that. So it doesn't have to be super tight as you can possibly go. That's not what we're shooting for. You just want it to be tight enough so it doesn't slip. So that's your tech tip of the day.